Well, hello. Good evening. Welcome to When Wisdom Talks. I'm Alisha.
And I'm Kadesha.
And I'm Naomi. And welcome to When Wisdom Talks. Hey.
All right now.
Y'all like our dance? I hope you do. Yes, we stayed up all night working on it for you. Welcome to another episode of When Wisdom Talks. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You know we love you. We thank you for each and every week that you tune in and hang out with us. You all know we love our When Wisdom Talks audience. This week, of course, you know we have a fabulous show. I'm not at my normal studio, so I don't have my props to kind of give you a hint on what our show topic is tonight, but you're just going to have to trust me in knowing that it's going to be a great one like it is every week. And so, as you know, this show and every other episode is sponsored by Wisdom on the Wall and Be Inspired Global Network. And our mission is to empower men and women to live better and wise, and through engaging discussions, fun activities, and inspiring special guests like the ones we have tonight. So I hope y'all are ready, because I'm ready. So I'm going to give it on over to Kadesha so I can catch my breath, because I've been on roller skates all day.
Well, my dear, you look great for being on roller skates. I hope y'all are feeling this head, okay? Because a bad hair day won't stop me, okay?
That's right.
Yes, indeed. I am glad to be back in my regular studio, if that's what we're going to call it. And I'm glad to be with you ladies this week. So our theme this month has been gift giving and holiday time. So, you know, the month of December is filled with many, many holidays. And so we like to celebrate and we like to give. And so that's what we're talking about again. This week, we have two special guests, as Naomi already mentioned. But before we get into those guests, we want you to do a few things for us. We want you to go ahead and share the page if you could. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube page at When Wisdom Talks. While you are typing away in your comments, because you know we like to hear from you, we want you to hashtag, and let me make sure I share, hashtag When Wisdom Talks. Okay, so we can start to get that trending. We also want to remind you that this is our third stop. Okay, Naomi said she was on roller skates today. We're on roller skates every week. Okay, so on Monday nights, we have our pop-up prayer call at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday morning, we are feeding you Bible for breakfast with our empowerment prayer call at 6 a.m. in the morning for the early birds. And that information you can find right here. We have a new call-in code, or new call-in number. So remember that if you are going to be sharing it. We also want to encourage you to find more information about us on our website, wisdomonthewall.com. And if you want to send us an encouraging note, if you want to partner with us, sponsor a show, if you want to need a prayer request, go ahead and email us at info@wisdomonthewall.com. So we are in tune or set for a pretty cool show. I'm really excited because I like giving gifts. And so I'm looking forward to some arts and crafts or something that I can give that is relatively easy. So get ready, get ready, get ready. We are going to head on over to our second segment with Miss Adams.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you much. All right. Like Kadesha said, this is segment 2, which is Girl, what's your story with a twist? And this is the time where we just share a little bit about what it is that we've been doing since the last time we saw you. And the twist is always going back to you all. We want you to participate. Just like Kadesha was saying, please type away in the chat. We do check that. So we like to hear, what is it that you've been doing? Maybe you did something, fun, something new, something exciting. It could have been something routine, maybe routine for you, but it could be new for us. A new book, movie, what have you. So share what you've been doing, and we're going to do the same. And I'll go ahead and kick us off. And my girl, my girl, what's your story with the twist tonight? It's about a fictional book that I'm reading by T.D. Jakes. Now, most of you know when I talk about books, it's typically nonfiction. I'm reading personal and business development or spiritual growth, money, all those types of books. But every once in a while, I'll get a fictional book that I can kind of feast on. And it's been probably 4 or 5 months ago, I shared one. And it was funny that Kadesha was saying, get ready, get ready, get ready, because the book at that time was by T.D. Jakes. And this one is as well. And it is entitled The Memory Quilt, A Christmas Story for Our Times. And I am so enjoying this book because, first of all, it gets you more into the Christmas spirit. But again, it's T.D. Jakes, so it's going to have some nuances. It's going to have some lessons learned. And it really is about a family that is Christian based, but that doesn't mean they are absent of any challenges. Like we all can say, we follow Christ, we believe in Jesus, but we go through life, we go through things. And when they talk about a Christmas story for our times, it truly is. Just a real quick sketch of it. There's the matriarch. Her name is Layla, and she's a mother of 3 daughters, a grandmother of one granddaughter. And the mother lives in Chicago. So it's Christmas time. So it's freezing. And now it's the whole thing that probably some of you are kind of going through right now. So her granddaughter just got married less than a year ago. She's pregnant, but she's getting ready to go through a divorce. And then the 3 daughters are scattered throughout the U.S. And now the whole question comes up, are we going to mom or grandmom's house for the holidays? So, and that happens with a lot. You start your family, you have kids or whatever, and you're trying to build your own traditions. And do you go back to, where you used to always go? So it's those dynamics. But the thing about the quilt that I love is that the grandmother/mother always makes a quilt for a wedding. So when someone gets married, she creates a quilt for them. And it's so endearing for me because my great grandmother, Ola Baughman, used to do that before she passed away. She had 9 children. She did it for all her grandchildren and great grandchildren, but she did it at the birth. So every child got their own baby quilt, which is phenomenal because if you think about quilting, there's so much love. We're talking about gift giving and we're talking about you making it yourself. And I mean, those things could have been sold. She never used a sewing machine. You go to her house. She was from Bluefield, West Virginia. You go to her house, and if she wasn't cooking, she'd cook steak and eggs and the apples, candy apples or whatever in the morning. Like, this is breakfast. She does a whole feast. But the other thing was, if she wasn't cooking, she would be in her big rocking chair quilting. And just real quickly on that, I saw this thing on the news the other day where they were saying, unfortunately, it's a dying art because most people, first of all, don't have that patience, for lack of a better word. And they were interviewing some of the women who were kind of the matriarchs of that particular quilting group. And they were saying a lot of women these days don't want to mess up their fingers, because you're using needles and you're getting stuck. They don't want to do that. So again, it's called The Memory Quilt. And it has a lot of twists and turns. And you'll probably see either your family or your friend's family in this book. You will definitely enjoy it. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good Christmas story. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to turn it back over to one of you two.
That was good. I feel like it was that. I feel like that was a generational thing for sure. Like my grandmother, my mom did a few, but definitely the grandmothers. I feel like you couldn't be a grandmother unless you could do a quilt back in the day.
Right.
But you're right. It is a lost art. I mean, for me, I don't have the desire to. Like I tried. My cousin tried to teach us. We was all on the floor. We all trying to take our time, and it's like, okay, that ain't my gift. But nonetheless, no, that's awesome. So you said the book was called The Quilt, right?
The memory quilt.
Oh, the memory quilt. Okay, that's cool. I love it. So for me, my something new is similar to you. I've been listening to an audio book, but I also just watched a pretty cool movie. I think I was telling you about it, Alicia, um, called Sisterly Christmas. And so my thing is now, okay, if I'm gonna sit down, take time to watch a movie, I can at least multitask and like put some marketing things in the mail. So it makes me feel better for like watching a movie because it gives me time to actually sit down and work on my business at the same time. But nonetheless, it was a really good movie. The movie was basically it's on OWN, and it's about two sisters who unfortunately just lost their connection after their mother passed. And so um, they hadn't been spending a lot of time together, right? So one is an entrepreneur and one, works a lot. So they haven't been spending quality time together. So they end up taking a Christmas vacation, not by choice. Their aunt, who is the mother's sister, who sees that they're, not spending as much time, was like, you know what? I'll give you this if you guys do this. So she was promising them their pre-inheritance, and she said, I'll give it to you if you guys take a vacation. Anyway, they take the vacation, of course, meet some love interest, and they're just starting to bond again. But what they did was they actually started to be honest about why the separation came and the grief that was still there, and how Christmas time was a hard time for her because that was reminded her of her mom, and she just didn't want to be in the house. So it was just all of these emotions were coming up that was, just kind of buried inside. And so, beautiful story, on OWN. Again, the movie's called Sisterly Christmas, but it really encourages you to reconnect with family during this time. Families or holidays rather do bring up sometimes sad emotions and different things just because of what we've experienced. But if you can connect with family, that love, that food, and just good quality time is awesome. And so that's what the movie is encouraging. So again, on OWN, Sisterly Christmas. And then the book that I've been reading or listening to is Will Smith's book called Will, entitled Will. And it's really just dope, honestly. I mean, because he's narrating it, so it's his voice. He's crazy, so he's making you laugh. And I think maybe at chapter 7 now, but he's taking you through a part of his childhood, which I appreciate learning more of his story and the adversity and the things that he faced, because it's like, wow, that really pushed him. And there's a part about it where he really talks about how wild his imagination was and is. And so I respect that, for particularly like for visionaries and entrepreneurs. Sometimes you're like, dang, I do have a pretty wild imagination, but God gifts us that, so we can be and do what we need to do with it. So pretty cool. So I'm at the part now where he just started talking about like how him and it's crazy. It's nothing but God, but how him and Jazzy Jeff met. Like it was supposed to be somebody else there with Jazzy Jeff at the party, and they didn't show. So Will was there, Will was ready, and from there it was like a match made in heaven. And so the other thing I love about it too, as he talks about these people from his childhood, like these people are still in his life. And so it's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm only at chapter 7, but I'm really enjoying it. I haven't even, to me, gotten to like the juicy part, but he's taking us through like the hip hop and all that part now on how he got into like MCing. So anyway, another good book, good audio book for you to listen to while you're driving and cooking and doing all your stuff during the holiday time.
I like that. That was key. One thing you said about him being ready, and I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
piece for all of us to take. Whatever your dream or your goal is, it may not be happening right now, but just be ready, because those instances may pop up where you'd be able to jump in and be able to show your skills. So thanks for
Right.
sharing. It sounds good.
I have to share this. So Jazzy Jeff, like literally, was always getting ready. Like he didn't do anything else because he was a little bit older than Will. So while Will's in school and high school, like all Jazzy Jeff did was just practice and record in his basement. So much so that when they went to go on their first tour, like he would get anxiety and panic attacks because he was so used to like being by himself because he was always working. So like his work ethic, like Will really gives him credit for the work ethic that he had because like he was literally around the clock always working. So he was getting ready for real.
All right, all righty now. You see, Fresh Prince. Well, actually, Will Smith is one of my favorite actors. I'm glad Titus dropped off because he hates when I say that. He doesn't like for me to say how much I like Maxwell, and he doesn't like when I say I like Will Smith. But what can I say? He's done some great movies and TV shows, and his career has been amazing. So that was a really cool story, Kadesha. Thanks for sharing that. I that gave me the opportunity to actually say his name without guilt. But family, I always use my girl, what's your story to update you on family things. So I am definitely on roller skates. My son, he did a phenomenal job throughout the football season. I'm so proud of him and all that he was able to accomplish. He was the captain for the defensive line for his football team, and he scored the most amount of touchdowns for the season. We were so proud of him. So this coming Sunday is his award ceremony. And I'm just so shout out to Nate the horse. So let me just tell you, he was so good this season that they nicknamed him the horse because he was just so fast and I'm just proud. I want to congratulate all the parents out there who do the best that they can to really invest in their children and to see what they're good at and to support their children. Because a lot of times we can have our own vision for our children, and some of it is sparked by things we weren't able to accomplish when we were younger. However, it's wise to pay attention to your children and see what they're naturally good at, their natural abilities, or even what they tell you they want to do. So, my son, he had been showing signs of wanting to play football and play drums since he was born. Before he could walk, he would be crawling and pulling himself up to things and patting little, rhythms out. And he always was drawn to the football out of all the sports he could have been drawn to and toys. It was the football. So I'm just happy to see all these years later, 12 years later, he's living out his dream. And shout out to all the parents in my same position who are rooting their children on and investing in them. So that's my girl. What's your story? And I'm sticking to it.
I so love that. I mean, first of all, kudos to you and Titus for encouraging him to follow his dream. Because, like you said, sometimes parents get so caught up in, I didn't get to do this. So, they're putting it on their kids. So, kudos to you all for directing him to his natural talent, which shows
Right.
this is his first year doing it and how he's doing it so well. So that's great.
Thank you.
And but you really hit the nail on the head by saying, sometimes parents limit their children or impose their dreams and realities on their children based off of things they weren't able to do.
Yes.
And it's like, we're talking about gift giving. Like, what a beautiful gift to give your child the choice to choose, right?
Yeah.
What they want to do based off of the gifts. I mean, you shape and mold and guide, but it's like, for them to have freedom, I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's another thing that I picked up from like Will in his book as well. So anywho, Will need to pay me, honey, because I'm on his PR team. But
we need him to sponsor something.
I know, that's right.
Okay. Let's tag him. But no, that's beautiful, Naomi. Kudos to Nate. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Woo, woo. Yay. Awesome. Well, at this point, I'm looking forward to turning this over to Kadesha to get us going in our next segment.
I'm looking forward to it. We have some beautiful guests behind stage, but I want to introduce them, tell you a little bit about them before we bring them out, bring them out, bring them out.
Oh,
So we have Miss Elaine Williams, who has been married, catch this y'all, for 35 years, and she still calls her
awesome.
husband wonderful. So I love it. And
Yes.
she has two sons. But no, this was the kicker for me. She lives in a city called Truth or Consequences. Wait a minute, let me repeat that. Truth or Consequences. And it is a real city, y'all, in New Mexico. Can you believe it? And actually, Elaine, well, I'll tell her when she comes out. But so she was introduced to entrepreneurship over 12 years ago, but she is loving what she does now. She is a relationship marketing specialist with send out cards, and we're going to hear about that in just a little bit. So she enjoys her entrepreneurial journey, giving her the freedom that she needs for her family. We also have Miss Lakia Johnson with Back to Basics Body Butters, who is the mother of two tweens. I love this. I'm like, wait, tweens? But she also works at Prominent Medical Office and also is the busy boss for her budding business Back to Basics by Key. So we're going to be calling her by her nickname. And so Back to Basics is a large line of whip body butters formulated to assist and restore dry skin complications. Wait a minute, I may need some tonight. And so we're looking to hear from these beautiful entrepreneurs and looking how we could potentially, um, give gifts, use their businesses and get some gifts for the holidays. Because if you're not Naomi, you haven't shopped already. Okay, if you like me, then well, Naomi already shopped. I haven't shopped. Okay, because I don't start my shopping in October. So if you are like me, you need some gifts, last minute gifts. Okay, so looking forward to speaking to these beautiful ladies. I believe we have a video. Yes. All right, we're gonna drop the video and then we're gonna bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. I love it. I love it. And that is Miss Lakia Jackson. My apologies. Do they call you Miss Jackson when you're nasty? No, I'm kidding. That is
Okay.
Miss Lakia Jackson, not Johnson. My bad. Well, hello, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hi, thank you.
How are you two tonight?
Doing great.
Good, good. Well,
No complaints. I'm happy to be able to be here and smile and look at these happy faces.
oh, well, we're glad you could be here with us. And so, Elaine, I wanted to tell you that I just visited New Mexico for the first time, but I was not
wow.
in Truth or Consequences, honey, and I'm glad I wasn't. I was in Albuquerque.
Oh, okay. You went too far from me. 2 hours north of me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
again, we're glad to have you both. We want to start off, maybe tell us about your business and tell us exactly what you do so the audience, the listening audience can know how to support you.
Elaine, you want to go?
Okay. So like she said, I'm a relationship marketing specialist and I work with a company called Send Out Cards. And basically what this company is it's a company that has relationship development tools, services, and products that can help you develop your relationship with yourself and with others. And one of those tools is Send Out Cards. And so I was introduced to Send Out Cards a little over 6 years ago. And at first I wasn't quite sure of it. I was introduced by my business partner of 12 years now. but when she told me it was cards, I wasn't quite sure. I thought, well, okay, well, I can do that. And she says, well, just make a card for somebody that you care about and try it out. And so I did. I made a card for my mom, and I have a sample of it. I don't know when you want me to show you that, but I made a card for her, and I was really I was really fortunate to be at her house when the mailman arrived. And it was something that I will never forget, because I wasn't really planning to be there, but the mailman arrived and she got the card. And of course she saw my name and her name, and she kind of looked at me and looked at the card and looked at me. And I said, well, open it, because this is the first card I'd sent. And so I, didn't really know what to expect. So she opened it, and the look on her, I will never forget the look on her face when she saw that card, and how it just, of course, she started crying. I started crying. And it was just validation at that point that this was something that I really needed to do. Relationships are everything, really. And whether you want to be successful in business or even in life, you have to have relationships. So that was 6 years ago, and I haven't looked back.
Wow. And you know what? I think like what Alisha was talking about with the quilt, greeting cards are a lost art in some cases.
Yes.
We'll send for birthdays or special occasions, we'll send a quick text, which, I'm all for texting as well. But I'm with you that there's just something about receiving a card or something in the mail with my name on it is very special. So thanks for bringing this back up. I forgot. I used to use send out cards back in the day, right? Years ago. But it's like, you know what? I may look back into it again, because it is something, well, one, it makes it easier on the entrepreneur, but two, it is something, and it looks real. Like it looks like a handwritten, note.
Right.
I wanted to hop in because I wanted to share. So Elaine, every year, Elaine sends me these beautiful personalized cards. And so this is one of the ones she sent for my past birthday I just had in October. Happy 39th birthday, with a picture that she usually gets from my social media page. Isn't that beautiful? And so when you open it up, you see personalized pictures and a personalized note there. Well, I'm pointing at the wrong side. Personalized note. And it says, "Happy birthday, Naomi. Hoping this new chapter in life brings with it many more of life's greatest blessings." And
I
so, to
love
your
it.
point, Kadesha, it's really nice getting special gifts like this. These are thoughtful, and it took time to put this together. So, just as an example.
Yes. Oh, and Elaine, feel free to show the card that you sent to your mom.
Oh, yes. So this is the one I made for her. Oops, trying to get camera. And it just says, "Just because I love you, Mom." And I use an app to make the little globe, and that's a picture of our family, and I was a baby. And so that was the front of it. And that's the inside. I put a picture of us, and I have my special message on it. Wow. And of course, like you said, you just can't find something like this in Hallmark. And it's a gift that's, I think, the best gifts that you could ever give somebody is something that you make from your heart. And when you put a picture on it like this, it's something that no one's ever going to throw away. In fact, most people, I think Naomi actually has one that is framed. Most people like to put them in frames, and so it's a nice reminder. So it's great. It's just a great.
Wait, how are you not at home and you still have props?
I brought it. I came prepared.
You can't see. Okay, Jazzy, Jeff, and Will, you on their level. But I love it. I love it because, again, our theme this month is gift giving and holiday time. And so this particular episode, we want to have you figure out how you can send something right at home, right? And you don't have to go far to do it, but you can do something, like you said, Elaine, from the heart.
Yeah. And Send Out Cards is a special company because what you do is you get either on your computer or you can get on an app on your phone, and you can either select from cards that are pre-designed and you can put your own pictures and message inside, or you can start from a completely blank page and completely design it yourself, put your own spin on it, as many pictures as you want, and then you send that out, or you push send. And what Send.Cards does is they print the card, they fold it, put it in an envelope, take it to the post office, and then it arrives at your loved one's door within 4 to 7 working days. And so one of the things, I've always liked to send cards, but I've never really been very good at it because either I was late to go buy it because you have to go to the store, you have to pick it out, and either you don't find the right, it doesn't have the right picture in the front, or it doesn't have the right message, and then you have to go home and mail it. And that's usually where mine fell through. And so a lot of times I had cards and I'd have to hand it to them like months later when I saw them, because I would never mail them on time. So this takes away that. And of course you can do it in your pajamas, at home, and just send a bunch of cards. So
I love
it. I was just going to say, you were talking about, it's so great to get, the cards in the mail. It is a good feeling because you're looking at everything, of course, bills and all these solicitations, and then to see, like you said, it looks handwritten, the card, the envelope, and everything. It's like, ooh, this is cool. Not a bill, something that's specifically for me. So I love it.
Yeah. And I like it because it's a gift that keeps on giving. One of the things when people get a card like that in the mail, it releases a hormone called dopamine, and it's a feel-good hormone. It makes you feel good. And so because this card is something you can hang on to and keep, every time you see that picture or that card, it brings back those same emotions. So even, and it costs pennies compared to a lot of gifts you can get out there. And it's something that will give for years and years. So
I love it. Yeah. Well, Ms. Lakia Jackson or Key, tell us about your business.
So I kind of stumbled across my business pretty much, I want to say 6 to 8 weeks into the pandemic of last year. I was tired of my skin peeling on the back of my hands, and I kept looking for a solution to the problem. I don't think I really came up with a solution until about June. And I've been fighting with the skin. And so I decided I was going to use that good old Amazon and order some butters that might be assistive. And so I sent out to a few of my family members who are in the service industry, like the postal service, who they were still working. And then in the medical field, they were still working. So I said, hey, try this, because I know we're all washing our hands so much and using all this hand sanitizer and alcohol and sprays and harsh chemicals trying to kill corona, so I sampled it out to them, and they were like, this is not a sample. So the size was probably like this big. They were like, this is not a sample. This is purchasable. I was like, well, I wasn't trying to sell it. I was just trying to save our hands, because we got to work with our hands. So, and I've been a person that I've always worked with my hands. I do everything with my hands. So they're precious to me. And in the profession that I'm in, I wash them a lot. So I ended up kind of coming up with a line of butters to help aid this issue of dry skin that we had come across with all this extra washing that we were doing. And it has really caught me off guard. I have a history and a background in cosmetology. I have a background in aromatherapy. I've taken some classes in aromatherapy and cosmetology. And one of the focal points of my cosmetology life was my skin. Like, I loved my skin. I like how youthful skin look. I like when your skin feels good. I just liked my skin. So I was like, no, we got to fix this problem that we all have now with this dry skin. And I knew people had other issues with skin before. I knew eczema was an issue. I knew psoriasis was an issue. I knew contact dermatitis was an issue. I knew about these things because of my medical information and my history and learning. And I was like, there's a solution. The solution is herbs and natural things. We can't do the alcohols. We can't do the harsh chemicals, the acetyl, whatever those words are, those really long words on the back of your lotion bottle that you have no idea what they are. The ones that say perfume. What perfume is it? Like, it's just perfume. oh, it's just perfume. But what is it? Like, what are you putting in my product that I'm using on my skin? And if you notice, throughout the years, I want to say, so my mom is maybe 62. If you count back, I'm positive that the product that she used when she was younger, that's a name brand product now, definitely don't feel the same. So it's not working the way it used to when they first started this product. I had to fix that. I had to fix that. So that's how I stumbled across my beautiful business. I'm so happy to have this. This is the best baby that I could have put together with these hands. And I am so happy at the journey that is bringing me on.
Wow, that's amazing. You touched on a lot, just in terms of finding a solution, so I think that's really what entrepreneurship is offering a solution to someone's problem. And you reminded me, we are washing our hands a lot and we are putting on hand sanitizer. I mean, anytime I'm in contact with anyone, I'm like, as soon as I get back to the car, I'm doing hand sanitizer. And so I do want to try some of your products, honey, because hands are important to me as well, especially in business. I speak with my hands. I'm in front of clients, and I don't want ashy hands, honey, because it ain't sexy. So I definitely want to use some of your products. So maybe both of you, is there a website that we can go to support both of you that we can maybe put on the screen so people, our audience, can support you?
Yes, you want me to type it in the chat? I sure can.
What's easier, Naomi? Yes. Okay. Yep. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful, both beautiful stories. And see, sometimes that's what it is. When it comes to business, sometimes you do just stumble into it. All right, perfect.
It really was. It wasn't. I was not expecting this. Like I was not the first person that said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to have my own business one day. I was not that person. I am happy to help in any way that I can. But as far as it being a business, it's almost as if, you know how you remember watching a cartoon and you saw the hook pull the cartoon character off of the screen. Like that's how this business snatched me up into it. I was like, okay, we're doing this. We're doing it. Okay. And it's been a joy. It's been a joy. It's been amazing. I launched in August of last year. That was my official launch. And it has been amazing ever since.
I love your pictures, like how you're describing it. Like you can literally see it and just feel the emotions attached to it. And I mean, you, like Kadesha said, you are really epitomizing what entrepreneurship is basically finding a need and filling it, and to just think about the fact that we are washing our hands. And I'm sitting here listening like, well, why didn't I think about that? Like, but it's awesome. Like, wow, I love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that as well.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you just a really short story of what happened. So I was looking for the solution. I'm walking around the house, and I remember as a kid growing up, and I saw that little cocoa butter stick. Do you remember the little cocoa butter stick that you would put on like your? Yeah. So that was what I saw, right? And I'm looking, and I said, I can't believe that this cocoa butter stick has literally been here for generations. My mom, myself, and now I have children. And I'm sure it's probably been around before my mom, like in my grandmother's time. Mm-hmm. So that I was like, cocoa butter has been the thing. Like it has always been the thing. You have everybody that puts cocoa butter or shea butter is what they say is in their product. So I was like, ooh, that's going to help. But it's not just that by itself. It's a compilation of products because some products are too heavy. You kind of have to cut it and stretch it. So I remember that little cocoa butter stick saved my life and saved my little knees a couple times as a kid. And it helped with a lot of scars because as you age, and I'm sure all of you agree, your scars heal differently. They take a little longer, or they don't look like they're gone in the amount of time that they used to. So that's pretty much how I stumbled across it. I saw that cocoa butter stick. I was like, oh, we're going to fix this dry hand issue right now.
I love how you say, save my hands. I love it. So while we're here, go ahead, Alisha.
No, no, go ahead.
While we're here, maybe like what would you say to that person who's like on the fence about becoming an entrepreneur? You know, Elaine, you've been at it now for well with this business for 6 years, but you've been in entrepreneurship for 12 years. And
Mhm.
for you, Key, you was like that wasn't what you envisioned for yourself, but now you can't even imagine your life without it. So like what would your the both of your advice be to entrepreneurs who or somebody who may not even know that they're an entrepreneur? Like what would you say to them?
I would encourage anybody to get started in it. You know, I didn't get started until I was, well, 12 years ago. And so I wish I'd have done it earlier in life because it really teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot about yourself and you get personal development. And so I've been in the network marketing space, which is, you know, that you work more on yourself than you do in your business. It's a personal development with a pay plan, basically. And so I would encourage anybody to be able to go out there and just follow your dreams and just try something, you know.
Mm. I never looked at it like
Yeah.
that. Personal development with a paid plan. I know that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I've come a long way. In fact,
Hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head, Elaine. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. One thing about me that a lot of people don't know is I was named the shyest girl in my high school class. And so I've come a long way with network marketing and being in you know, networking and building relationships like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I had done it earlier in life. You know, that's what I would wish. And so if I could tell anyone younger, that's what I would encourage them to do.
Yeah. Well, you know, God can definitely restore that time and make up for it on the back end. So
Yes, you
we
can.
trust that you're gonna do everything you need to do with that business and any other businesses that you touch. What
Thank
about
you.
you, Key? What would you say? Because you again you didn't envision yourself as an entrepreneur.
I would never tell anyone. It's definitely not for the faint at heart. You're gonna have highs and lows.
Mhm.
You're gonna have questioning your because you're saying yourself, no, I feel like I've drawn a blank and I can't come up with something fresh. I take all of those moments and I suggest that you you take information from each part of that moment. You know, you're going to get something. You're going to realize that you were at the top of the roller coaster and you had to come down, but what you saw down there, or on your way up, you saw something else. And in all of that, take it and ride that roller coaster because it's a ride, and it's not a perfect ride, but as Elaine said, you learn um, about yourself through building these new relationships based on your business. Um, and it's very, very, very rewarding. The people that you come across, the opportunities that you embark upon, it's all worth it. But you have to find something that you absolutely love in order for it to work.
Mhm.
It can't be something that is a temporary thing. You have to absolutely love it. And because I love my skin, that's why, I told y'all I love my skin. I love my skin. And I love everybody else's skin because that's what makes us so different. So, I mean, I just absolutely, absolutely love it.
I love it. Well, Keith, first of all, thank you for pointing out the fact that finding something that you love. Because one of the things that when I'm talking about entrepreneurship, I always use the quote, do what you love and the money will follow, and do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life. And I think that's one of the ultimate goals, to be able to just do what you enjoy, and kind of like what Elaine was saying, getting that compensation that comes along with it as well. But you were kind of starting to hit on it, Key, and I want to specifically hone in on that. We talk about all the positives of it, but what are some of the, what would you say the challenges are in your business, the hardest things that you have to deal with, and how do you do it? How do you deal with that challenge?
Um, the challenge is being it all, but I'm being
Mhm.
it all again. So I've been a mom, I'm a daughter daughter. I've been it all before, but now I'm all of it for my business. The creative director, I send the shipping out. I figure out whatever fragrances we're going to use. I have to change the package. I have to take the pictures. I have to go out and set up for the pop-up shops. I have to scout for a storefront because I know I'm probably going to end up with a storefront business. So I have to do all of that. There is a idea team that helps me, but I'm doing the majority of it. So it is very, very challenging. I look for sleep like you might be looking for a piece of dust in a person's house that's got a housekeeper. Like I always look for sleep. I'm telling you, I'll be so tired sometimes. And you'll call me and I'll be like, I'm taking a nap because I don't want to do anything today. So it can be very exhausting. But then once you get on the other side, I just always look forward to getting on the other side of that. And then it's like, boom, there it is. Like that's what makes it all the better.
I love it. What about you, Elaine?
Well, I don't really have too many challenges. I think probably the biggest challenge is not having enough hours in the day to send as many cards as I want, because there's always something to celebrate. You know, there's always a reason to send a card and just to brighten someone's day. And I wish I had more time, you know, just to send. You know, I do send out a lot, but if I could do what I really wanted to do, you know, I would send out a whole lot more. Because I think, you know, they do make an impact. And I think that's what I really love about the company and the service is making that impact. You know, I was telling Naomi the other day, it still amazes me after 6 years how this piece of paper can have so much impact on someone's life. You know, I've seen these cards fix relationships, you know, repair relationships, bring people closer together, and just you know, there's so much you can do. And so I guess having more time.
Understandable, yeah. I feel
Well, you two seem to be givers, as all of us are on here. So, but before we close out, what's the best gift that you've ever received?
Elaine, you want to go?
The best gift, like overall,
Or anyone that comes to mind, since we are giving people ideas on what they can be sending out.
Well, like I said, I have a bunch of cards that I've gotten from people, and you know, that feeling that my mom got, I get that same feeling when I get a card. You know, I see it in the mailbox, and I just, you know, what is it going to look like? You know, and so there are a lot of them that are very special to my heart, and you just, you know, you can't replace that with anything else, I don't think.
Yeah. Can you think of anything, Key?
Yep, it's amazing that you say. A friend of mine, we've been friends for about 24 years. We started giving each other cards, and like you said, it's that's that dopamine that you get. It's that rush when you get that card with your name on it in the mail. It's like, you know, you get so excited. So right now, the best gifts that I'm receiving, I don't even have to have the big gifts. Just give me a card. And it says that the words in the card or the pictures, and now I'm going to be supporting, you know, send out cards. I just can't wait to tell the story with a card. Like, this is so amazing. Like, I love my cards. Give me a card. It's something simple too.
I love it. Naomi, somebody's asking for the links again in the chat room. I love it. Well, I'm looking forward to shopping on you guys' website. I'm looking forward to sending some gifts out for sure. I am excited to support you and to get these hands all the way together.
Thank you.
But we thank you for stopping by and hanging with us. You're officially a part of the Wisdom on the Wall family now.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you can hang out backstage if you like, and watch the rest of the show from there.
Okay, I do want to make one note. If you go to my website and you text your phone number, you will get a text back that will give you a code where you can make a free card. So
I love it.
That's just for anybody that hasn't made a card yet. We'll be able to do that. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Elaine, and thank you, Key, and looking forward to patronizing your businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good.
I know you get me in the Christmas spirit. This been taking me a while to get there, but with these little background, you got the pictures and the music. I'm almost there. I'm almost.
Oh,
It's holiday time.
Woo! I love
Love
it.
it.
I love it.
That
That was
was good.
awesome. That was awesome. I can't wait to try their Keys
Body butter.
yes, body butter lotion. I meant to ask her, darn it, if she does lip stuff.
That probably be next. I actually purchased some things. She does stuff for men too. I bought some cream for my husband, and it has a wonderful scent. And the good thing about it is it's not overpowering. The scent that's in it, it smells just so. So you put it on and it stays with you, but it's not like strong like some lotions that you put on from the store.
Oh, that must be. Is that the King Love? I'm looking.
Yes.
Okay.
The King Love.
I
And
love it.
And the sizes of the containers are so good. Like for the prices, it's like,
Yeah.
woo.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome.
I know that's right. Yes.
And of course, you know my trusty dusty cards.
Oh my goodness. That was good. That was good. That was good. Thank you, Naomi, for the divine connection.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Team effort, y'all. We all family.
Woo, woo.
Oh my
Love
goodness.
it. I love it.
Yeah, I guess we moving on, are we?
Yep. Here we go.
With
You
that,
already know what time it is. It's our chance to tell you something good we've seen on social media, on TV, or wherever we just found it. It's our time to tell you about it. So with that, I'm kicking it over to Kadesha.
well, I feel like we're always dancing on here.
We are. It's a big party. That's why.
It is. It is. So, yeah, this was super, super cute when I read it. So, we have, of course, on social media, different groups that you can be a part of. And one of the groups that I'm in posted this, and it resonated with my heart in a few ways. One, because we're talking about giving, but second, because I used to be a waitress. So, basically, this is what they did. So a young man, well, yeah, we're going to call him young, said, today is a favorite tradition of mine. I gathered 17 friends for breakfast with every person bringing $100 bill. We paid for our meal, which was $200, and we gave the other $1,500 to our waitress for her tip. Unbeknownst to her or to them, she and her husband had recently hit a rough patch, and she told them that they restored her faith in community. And so they do this every year, and they call it the shock and clause. And so they were challenging us to get friends together and do the same. And so again, he gathered 17 friends. Everybody brings their own $100 bill. They pay for the meal, and the remaining, which was the $1,500, you give to the waitress. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, definitely want to do some level of that. And then somebody in the group was like, well, now I got to find friends who agree and who can afford. But even if you can, again, just kind of in the spirit of giving, find somebody less fortunate than you to give and to be a blessing, right? And so even if you can't do what this guy and all his friends did with the $100 bill, the extra 20,
that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
it really goes a long way. And again, because I waitress in college, and that was my livelihood. Like that's what I needed to survive while I was in school. That cash that I made that night, which as waitresses, at least at that time, you didn't make a lot. It was maybe $2 and some change, and after taxes, it was a wrap. So for people to be generous when these people are literally serving you, right? And you have no idea what they're dealing with in the back. And people can be jerks and all types of things that you deal with as a waitress or a waiter or even bartender and so on and so forth. Like, to receive that type of tip, $1,500 in this case, or extra $100 or extra $20, like, it really does go a long way during this time, because you will be surprised how many families are relying on those tips to have a good Christmas, to have a good Kwanzaa, to have a good Hanukkah, just to have food on their table. So again, I encourage you to go the extra mile when you're eating and somebody's bringing you food, your drink, your water. Give them something extra, particularly around this season.
Absolutely. I think it's really, and that's good. I'm glad you shared that, because, a lot of times when you think about that industry, people don't realize like how much you actually make as a base salary,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like pennies on a dollar. So yeah, if you can do something beyond that, especially if that person gave you exceptional service,
Mm-hmm.
reward them, and that thing will just spur it on where they would want to continue
Mm-hmm.
to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. Very good.
Yeah. And I think I remember years ago, and people do this often sometimes, but pay for the person in front of you when you're in drive-through and stuff like that. Like, this is the time to ramp all of that up just to make someone's day. And like, you have no idea. In this case, she said that they have restored her faith in humanity. And if you can bring some level of faith, hope, and love to somebody, you've done a great deed. So
You hit on something right there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop you.
No, I'm done.
When I was saying, when you mentioned the pay for somebody, in line, and I don't know if you remember this, as I share it, it may come back to you. But I was, I think it may have been earlier this year, or maybe towards the end of last year. I was in line Chick-fil-A drive-through, and when I got up to pay, the lady said, the person paid for your food in the previous. And I'm like, wait, like, that have never happened to me before. I've done it with like the toll, paying for the toll.
Oh, wow.
But I've never like experienced somebody praying for me for the food. And I was like so overwhelmed. And I'm trying to find like the car that was in front of me. And it was like they just vanished. And I remember calling you. I don't know if we had just talked or something, but I ended up calling you back. Like, and I'm crying because I'm just like, oh my God, like it is amazing. I never would have thought I would have cried because of that, but it gives you faith in humanity. Like, they didn't know me from a can of paint, but it was like, and then I'm thinking like, dang, I should have ordered some more stuff,
But I think for me, it's like Angela, my good friend Angela Joe, calls them God wink. So when stuff like that happens, which I feel like it don't happen to me, but it brings me the same joy when I'm able to do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like today, we call them the squeegee boys in Baltimore. When you're at the light and they cleaning your windows, I'm like, let me bless you. And that just made my whole day. I'm like, I don't know if you need it. I don't care if you need it or not. That made my day. So it's like those things, like what Elaine was saying, it's like, it's the gift that just continues to give. So that's what we talk about, y'all, this month. And we about to stop talking about it because we only got 3 minutes left. So with that being said, I guess
are we going straight to the end, or are we try to do wisdom? All right, I guess it's the end.
No, yes. we'll hear time to go.
Go ahead, wrap it up. Wrap it up box, like my husband always says, the wrap it up box.
So Naomi can get it on home, right?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
I love it. But no, I'll share this. I love this. I stumbled upon this, based off of Alisha. I've been sharing a proverb a day keeps the poverty away. So I shared that with two young gentlemen today. But I have been in my Proverbs daily, but this didn't come from today, but I did find it in Proverbs. But Proverbs 19:17 says, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. And so even if you like, man, I'm on the struggle bus, how can I give? If you lend to someone who's less fortunate, it's like you're lending to the Lord, and he's going to repay you. So don't worry about how it's going to come, but you're going to reap that one form or fashion. So again, we just want to encourage you to give as much as you can during this season. you can give to us too. Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Wisdomonthewall.com. We will accept your donations because we are a 501c3 and those things are tax deductible. But you're not even looking for the tax deduction because the scripture just told us that God will reward you. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure you patronize those businesses that took the time out of their lives, out of their busy schedule to stop by and to bless us and to bless you. So make sure you go to send out cards to support Elaine and back to the basics with Key and her body butters. And so we just appreciate you for just tuning in another Thursday. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. You know we're here. Go ahead and share it with somebody. If somebody else needs some good news, some encouragement, make sure you share. So we love you to life. Again, this episode of When Wisdom Talks was brought to you by Wisdom on the Wall Inc. and Be Inspired Global. Look, I'm being like Naomi, about to knock over something. But we appreciate you. We love you so much. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay in faith. Have a good night, y'all.
Bye. But in a long time.